So, as you may or may not already know, I did have a previous video showcasing the best method to defeat Malenia, but that was before From Software decided to update the game with 1.06, and they basically threw that method into the bin. So we've had to come up with something new, as the previous method was heavily induced with Arcane and also the use of Rivers of Blood, which has been heavily nerfed in this most recent patch. So yeah, here's the updated version of the best way to defeat Malenia post 1.06. And much like my previous video, we're just going to be jumping straight into it, but just before we do that, we are still on the road to 500 subscribers, so yeah, if you want to jump on the sub train, get involved, be one of the first few to ever subscribe to this channel and always have bragging rights of that, then yeah, do hit that subscribe button down below. There's a lot of support being shown on the channel recently, and I could genuinely not be any more happy with the amount of support that's being shown on the channel so far. So yeah, if you want to jump on board, hit that sub button, it's free. If you want to change your mind down the line, you can as well, and whilst you're down there, drop a like on the video if you happen to enjoy it as well. But like I say, jumping straight into it, here is the build now that we're using to defeat Malenia. If you've watched my other previous video on my channel, my Ultimate Faith build, it's fairly similar. However, the stats are a bit all over the place because I was genuinely trying to find what is now the best method to defeat Malenia, and I think I found it. Much like that previous Faith build video, we are focusing on the Bolt of Grandsax. That's going to be our main weapon of choice, and that's going to be the thing that's going to be dealing the most amount of damage to Malenia throughout the fight. And as I mentioned, my stats are a little bit all over the place because I was trying different things. So with the Bolt of Grandsax, it scales with dexterity and strength. So again, I've put a high amount into dexterity and a high amount into strength. I didn't need as much faith as I had done in my previous video, but I only needed enough to also use the black knife because we are going to still be using that as a secondary weapon to deal consistent damage over time with that skill move with the Black Death effect. So I think you only need like 17 or 18 faith points into that, and the rest can pretty much be used across vigor, mind, endurance, strength, and dexterity. You don't need really any arcane. I think I've got 60 at the time, but if you're a similar level to me during this playthrough, because again, this is new game plus 4, so it also is just genuinely harder, but just heavily focus on strength and dexterity and level up the Bolt of Grandsax as much as you can. We are also using the Black Knife Tishi because again, that summon can also deal extra death damage, also piling on top of your own, causing a nice, easy, quick depletion of Malenia's health over time as well. But other than that, of course, here are the talismans. Again, a bit all over the place. The only mainstays that I would keep in this is Godfrey's icon, the jar of flesh that you get from completing Alexander's questline, because both of them actually help boost the damage output from the Bolt of Grandsax. But I would also maybe put in a Dragon Crest shield to help defend against Malenia's attack, or at least help with damage negation, and also swap in what I have as raising my dexterity to maybe something else, maybe something that's going to help with lightning attacks, or something that's better fit to your playstyle, maybe to help with equipment load. But once those talismans are equipped and your levels are suited to the Bolt of Grandsax, you're pretty much good to go. Like I said, using the Black Knife Tishi and also your own Black Knife to deal constant death damage to Malenia over time, mixed in with the Bolt of Grandsax, makes the first stage an absolute breeze. The Grandsax, its special ability, staggers and also knocks down Malenia. So with the Black Knife Tishi and also the Grandsax, you can almost do like a back and forth tennis match, much like my first video when I was doing it with Luke, and basically ping Malenia between yourself and the Black Knife Tishi, constantly dealing damage and constantly stopping her from attacking because she's constantly being staggered. And the fact that the skill with the Bolt of Grandsax can be done at range is just another safety thing. You do not need to be anywhere close to Malenia. You can simply spam the hell out of that if you want to, or you can get up close and personal again if you want to as well with the weapon. But if you're like me, keep your distance and just keep slinging those lightning bolts at Malenia and she'll be on her back for pretty much the majority of the fight. But of course, when she gets into the second stage, it does get a little bit more interesting. It's going to be likely, especially if you're using the Tishi, that you're going to lose your summon during her first attack in the second phase. So that explosion of Scarlet Rot while she uses her special ability. Your summons are unfortunately coded to be morons and walk into it to try and attack her head on. So you're most likely going to lose your summon unless he's on max health and has the ability to basically withstand all of the damage. But again, as long as you dodge the attack, you can sit and hit her with 2 or 3 lots of the Black Knife skill set, depleting damage over time while she's still resetting from using her special move, because there's about 10 or so seconds where she's vulnerable and is not moving, allowing you to pummel her with extreme amounts of damage. Throw in another shot from the Grand Sax and again you can knock her over. If your summon is still alive, you can try and also utilize that tennis technique of going back and forth between them with attacks. But if it's like my playthrough you're seeing here and your summon walks into the deadly Scarlet Rot, then you're gonna be on your lonesome. But don't worry, because if that does happen, there's one small little trick you can do to make sure that Malenia's never gonna hit you during the second phase. What's that? Running! Yep, just run away from her. Just run away from her like you run away from all of your problems in real life. Just be a little pussy like myself and just, yeah, hold the sprint button. Because whenever she starts having a little tantrum and starts, you know, summoning her split personalities on you, again, running just simply away from those attacks makes it a hell of a lot easier to dodge. You don't need to be sitting there spamming the dodge button. You can just simply back off, and when she does her final swoop, again, you're miles away from her and can see it coming from a mile off, so it's very easy to dodge if you do need to dodge. And the same can also be done when she's starting up her swords dance attack, where she goes all Sekiro on us and starts swinging her sword around like a jacked up samurai. Again, keep enough distance between yourself and Malenia to then be able to dodge the final set of slashes that she tries to cut your head off with. So running is key, because again, much like my Elden Beast video, we're not here for integrity, we're not here to, you know, boost our egos, we're simply here to defeat Malenia. So this is the easiest way, not the most respectable way, but if you're struggling and you genuinely can't kill her, because I know it is difficult now to kill Malenia, try this. Anyone can do it. It's just holding the sprint button, and then whenever she does that explosion attack where she turns into the Scarlet Rot Flower and then leaves herself vulnerable, that's when you attack her. That's where you hit her 2 or 3 times to the Black Knife to deal the constant damage over time, and then also hit her once or twice with the Bolt of Grand Sax for good measure. And as much as it's dull and boring, just rinse and repeat that. Again, if you have your summon, it's going to be a lot easier because she may be focused on your summon rather than yourself, in which case you can probably then start hitting her even more with the Bolt of Grand Sax or with the Black Knife, dealing more damage. But if you're on your lonesome, like again I had to do so through my playthrough, this is the easiest way and the best method to dodge her attacks, utilize the mechanics within the fight, and make it as easy and as stress-free as possible. I tried a whole multitude of different weapons, a whole multitude of different methods to try and beat her, but this, again, went into it first time round using this specific method or weapons, and I did it first time, which is why my skills were all over the place, why my talismans were all over the place, because they were suited for a different build, but it just wasn't working out. So yeah, in terms of success rate, this is 1 out of 1, so it works, or at least it works for me. Yeah, hopefully this has been a nice, quick and concise video for you. I know there's a little bit of explaining in between and discussing from what we did in the past to what we have to do now, but hopefully this gives you a new perspective on the fight, and it shows you that although we can't spam L2 with the Rivers of Blood anymore, we can simply spam L2 with a different weapon and it still just be as effective as it was with the Rivers of Blood. And as I say, hopefully this video has helped, and if you have enjoyed it or if it is somewhat useful to you, do let me know in the comments down below, or if you've got other ways to improve this build. Again, hit me in the comments down below. I'm sure somebody will appreciate seeing other ways that you can utilize this build and make it even better. And of course, hit the like button on this video as well. It lets me know that you're enjoying this type of content, and I do genuinely appreciate all of the support that we're receiving on the channel at the moment. And before I ramble on anymore, that's how you defeat Malenia, or the best way to defeat Malenia in the new 1.06 update for Elden Ring. Hopefully you have enjoyed, and hopefully you have an amazing rest of the day, and I will catch you in the next video of whatever it is that I make. Bye bye.